to Sunup on 7. My name is Renata Samos-Carter.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kevin Mendes. Welcome to your Monday episode of Sunup on 7. It's a chilly morning in Belize City. It is lovely. Redless teas, and what can they expect on today's show?
It was chilly, guys, but we're bringing some smoke in the house because Jules is coming in with the beef. And it's going to be big, it's going to be good, it's going to be juicy. Maybe it might be dry after a while. We don't know. We have to check the temperature and see how it rolls. But what else do we have up our sleeve, Kevin?
What else? There's a book launch that's upcoming this week, and today we're going to find out more details about it. Political Voices of Belize. Stay tuned for that conversation.
All that and so much more. You know how this works. Put your comments in the comment section, make it live, interactive, fun, and respectful, of course. Shall we get to the couch?
Let's get to the couch.
That's worth looking for today. Just in time,
and he's here to talk to us
the
about
writing appears on the
show that we're on right now. Tell me.
and I were the first ones to see.
And we're going to be talking about the hot show that has been happening
World
over the
that
weekend.
we see
So
may seem that will never change. They say,
people.
but if you tear down the wall that's blinding us all, you'll see the way today. A place to call your home, a place where you can grow. Stand by
Muy buenos dias, my beautiful Sunup on 7 family. Welcome to your Monday episode. It's February 2nd, and say thank you so much for welcoming Renata into your space. If you're watching via Facebook, YouTube, or cable TV, it's a pleasure interacting with you. We're very excited about this Monday episode, so before we get into it, let's bring in the weather, and that's courtesy of the Belize Met Service.
Good morning. A cold and mostly dry northerly airflow prevails over the country. And in the 24-hour forecast, skies will be mostly sunny today with little or no rain expected. Then clear to partly cloudy tonight with isolated showers or periods of light rain developing mostly along coastal and offshore areas. High temperatures for today will reach around 72 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 73 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 62 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Low temperatures for tonight will reach around 63 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 54 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 50 up in the mountains. Then for those of you who are curious, as of 5:50 this morning, temperatures over northern districts were around 42 to 51 degrees Fahrenheit. Over inland areas, around 48 to 53 degrees Fahrenheit. Then along the central coast, around 55 to 62 Fahrenheit, while over the southern districts, temperatures range around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Please note that the lowest temperature for the day usually occurs just around sunrise, and the sun has not risen as yet. Then winds over the open sea 10 to 20 knots, with sea conditions being moderate to rough. Please note that a small craft caution remains in effect for locally rough seas, especially in northerly swells, so operators of small crafts should exercise caution. And then high tides occur at 10:49 this morning and at 10:31 tonight. Lower tides at 4:14 this evening, then at 5:27 tomorrow morning. The sun will rise at 6:24 this morning, then set at 5:48 this evening, while the moon will set at 7 o'clock this morning, then rise at 6:48 this evening. And now for the extended forecast. There will be a few cloudy spells with isolated showers or periods of light rain, mostly over central and southern areas for Tuesday and Tuesday night. And finally, for the sargassum update. Satellite and surface observations show an increase in sargassum over northern and coastal areas. The forecast suggests that a few mats are likely to continue impacting these areas during the next few days. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
Beautiful Sunup and 7 family. That was the weather update, courtesy of the Belize Met Service. Let us know how the cold front is treating you this morning. But definitely, who's on our couch and ready for this Monday morning beef is Jules. Jules, good morning. How is this cold front treating you?
I love it. I wish it were like this all year round.
This is what I'm saying. Like, just at least, okay,
So
6
temperate.
months. 6 months. Give me 6 months.
6 months.
It would be the other word you said as well.
What?
6, but yeah.
Yeah.
She made a verbal slip. But that's what
No
people
one
call
heard
it.
it until June.
They call it together weather, no?
Together weather,
Together
baby
But
making
yes.
weather. They also say baby
Yes.
making weather.
But we just want to, if I could first, we have some amazing temperatures this morning before sunrise.
Oh.
And I think Edson has some of them. We have in Hattieville, if we look at Ladyville, Hattieville, this is at 5 a.m.
Jeez.
The temperature
Okay.
was 53.1. If we could look at another one, we had Ladyville, temperature was 52.7. This is at 5 a.m. or 5:15 a.m., I believe.
5:15,
We
yeah.
could look for our next one. Coast Guard was 54.3. And when we go out in the hinterlands, we could switch. We have the La Milpa or the Balde Beacon. But I know that at La Milpa this morning, and I'll send it to you now, sir. I know that at La Milpa this morning, it was 43 degrees. So you should have that now, sir.
So you're saying 51 degrees in Santa Familia at the moment.
51 in Santa Familia.
Nice.
Yeah, so, But so at Balde Beacon at 5 a.m., it was 43 degrees.
My gosh.
At Galanjog, it was 44. It was 44 degrees at Galanjog.
Oh my gosh.
And
The
at,
jog-
I think we had La Milpa somewhere in here, but at La Milpa, I believe it was 43. So, and that's in the northeast,
Yeah.
in the northwest, Orange Walk. So we're having temperatures in the low 40s.
I love it.
We'll know later on if those set any records for February. We'll check with the Met Service later on.
Yeah.
But it's very exciting. We love a cold front.
We love a
it's
cold
a
front.
good thing.
Somebody's
agree.
asking if anybody's wearing their Uggs. Yes, Mary Francis, our
Mary
producer,
Francis wearing her Uggs
is wearing
today.
her Uggs, guys. I've gotten record. I documented it. So
Yeah. But I also noticed that some schools, they're saying that students will be allowed to wear something else other than uniform to be able to stay warm
Really?
today. Yeah. But
Oh,
of course, you're
that's
saying no
nice.
sweatpants, no Crocs, and all of this. But still, because of like,
Yeah,
you know,
see the
people-
one in Balde Beacon there? The temperature is 46.
Jeez Louise.
And I think we have the Galanjog as well.
It got a 43.6 wind chill too. Like,
Yeah.
This is the thing where people don't understand about cold. Cold in itself is doable, but when the wind hits, I think it amps it up a little bit more. So like that wind fall and all of that is gonna be what really that wind chill. Yeah. Love it here.
Galanjog, low 40s, 43.7.
Jeez.
So yeah,
awesome.
exciting stuff.
How you gonna protect your mole, your baby mole?
You know,
I like it.
that's all who was our friend, the boxer, Big Baby? I think you all saw this weekend that Big Baby's baby mole came off. I don't know if you saw that.
Baby's baby
He was boxing, Big Baby, Jarrell Miller. Congratulations, he won the fight.
Woohoo.
But he was fighting this weekend. I sent it to you guys inside. He was boxing, and he had a toupee,
Oh.
like a mohawk toupee, and it get knocked off.
You get knocked out.
Yeah, Edson has it in there.
Oh my gosh, we need to that edge.
Yeah. He'll have it for us shortly.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so that's why I don't wear a toupee.
Yeah.
That's why I don't worry about my baby mole.
So you're saying at the moment it's 50 degrees in San Ignacio, 55 in Toledo. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Great, awesome.
I love
Great
how
cold
people
front.
feel it, you know?
Yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
good. It's good for us. It's good for us.
You
Don't
know,
worry, we'll
food.
suffer by May. We'll be suffering and begging for it.
That is so true. But Jules, let's move on to our
Yes,
next
yes, we've
topic.
already taken time.
Now let's talk about the PUP Northern Caucus endorses smart acquisition.
The PUP Northern Caucus has spoken. When a caucus speaks, it is a sure sign game over. And I don't mean in a good way. So the PUP Northern Caucus, a group from which we hear very little, has taken a position on smart, on their bosses' families' sale of SpeedNet. So let's keep that in perspective. When a caucus speaks, this is a political rule of thumb. When the PUP activates its caucuses, they are desperate. Let me explain. I've been in the game long. When, for example, Said Musa was in leadership trouble during the G7 times, the first thing you do is, we have to get a statement from the Northern Caucus. We have to get, you said these are the party instruments that will bolster a failing public position or profile. It is, for example, if I am doing something that nobody supports in the entire society, but I get an endorsement from the Sunup caucus, that I ask the Sunup people to put out a statement in support of their boss. So let us be very clear about what is happening here. This is the PUP Northern Caucus supporting a position which will benefit their bosses, John Briceño, their party leader, their prime minister's family, to the tune of $18 million. But all that said, it's a revealing, and if you could bring my laptop, Angie, all that said, it is in its way revealing because it's the first time we're seeing these figures. So the caucus endorses it, and they say that the financial analysis presented to the caucus indicated that the revenues are projected to increase from 167 to 207, 40 million, following the consolidation. Dividend per share is projected to increase by 216%, etc. So they actually revealed some numbers, so we're grateful for that. But they don't say, okay, how much will your operational costs increase because you have to take on additional staff, or are you going to do fire the 100
too
people?
early. We don't know as yet, Jules. Remember?
So they don't speak about that, and they don't speak about what is really the cost of acquiring all the redundant assets that you are purchasing. Right? So you cannot make the assessment in isolation. Third, bro, there are some conflicts that are so naked that you cannot speak on them because, again, the Briceño family, which owns 23% of SpeedNet, stands to benefit $18 million. This is a manifest, overt, blatant, flagrant conflict of interest. So it is such a shameless ruse to try and project to the public that, oh, the Northern Caucus, a representative of the people in the North.
We have numbers to say, profits will be good.
Right.
Things are going to be better.
So I'm just saying it is transparent and it is desperate. Whenever you get the caucus, this is the only group that has put out a statement in support.
Jules, who makes up this Northern Caucus?
The Northern Caucus is a political organization comprised of the 8 constituencies in the North, from Orange Walk South to Corozal North. Right? So the 8 PUP constituencies of the North form the Northern Caucus. Now, I expect that in due time, the Western Caucus of the PUP, because these are PUP groups,
Their machines are people.
will have to fall in. So you can expect other endorsements. This is the only written public endorsement we have seen. I understand the Better Business Bureau, or the Belize Business Bureau, whatever they're now called, have an AGM and I'll believe in you. But the Better Business Bureau has also endorsed it, but I haven't seen a paper from them. So NTUCB stands against it. The National Evangelical Association of Belize stands staunchly against it. The Chamber of Commerce stands staunchly against it. The Social Security Board of Directors has not taken a position in favor of it. The independent senators stand against it. The independent media stands against it. But we have the PUP carcass. If you allow them into the room because they smell. I'm just saying, it's transparent and highly desperate when one calls on the caucuses as an endorsement.
But Jules, did the PM endorse the acquisition?
You know, that is a very good question because he says he didn't, but let me put it like this. Okay, he didn't come out overtly and say, I think it is the best thing for BTL to purchase SpeedNet, a company 23% owned by my family. He did not say that. That would be an endorsement. What he did say was, they have to do it. Their revenues are flatlining. You know, they will face a terrible future if they don't. I have some of his words here. Social Security's rate of return will increase from 9 to 11%, right? So all these things he's saying are clearly, deliberately, unanimously in favor of an acquisition. So he may not have come out and said, I am John Briceño, and I support BTL acquiring my family's company for X million dollars.
Oui.
No, that would have been an endorsement. Fair. He endorsed it every way he could by saying, if they don't do it, their revenues will flatline. It's a good deal for them. Their rate of investment will...
He's presenting facts, Jules.
Right, yeah, these are the... But, you know, it's so... And so it is so ridiculous for them to say, Cabinet will not announce a position. Brother, the Prime Minister is out there taking a position, saying that it's imperative upon the directors of BTL to take what they believe is a good deal, which I do not believe it is a good deal. And I will tell you why. They focus so much on the you know, that BTL's, its revenue will increase without looking at the costs. But I'm saying that what they don't look at is, okay, but what you're buying, please say it, are the customers, right? You're buying the revenue stream from the customers because you don't need their infrastructure. So then how that is usually gained is by competition, by making yourself more competitive, by underselling. BTL is facing, I agree, a serious threat sometime in the future, not too far away, from Starlink. Starlink is not operational in Belize. There are many Belizeans who use Starlink.
Okay.
I should say a number.
Yeah.
On the borders, right?
Yeah.
In the remote areas of Toledo, they don't have internet. They use Guatemalan Starlink.
Okay.
They buy the service in Guate and they use it.
Okay.
There are people who buy the service in Chetumal and they use it.
All right.
Great.
Good.
It's not presently offered in Belize. Belize is a very small market. I don't think they're breaking down the door to get into this country. Guatemala, by comparison, has 17, 16 million people. Mexico, tens of millions. So those are large markets, competitive markets. Belize is 400,000, maybe, 300,000, 200,000 internet users. My point is, Starlink offers an internet service, for those who don't know. Starlink offers a satellite-based internet service. They have a large array of satellites at low orbit that are able to give you internet. The future is, in 2 or 3 years, we're going to see it in developed countries, satellite to phone, eliminating the use of phone companies. That is an existential threat to BTL. I totally agree with that. That is an existential threat to the 550 people who currently work there. Because when Starlink, if they, Belize is not their priority, they will send us what you consider a cell phone signal or internet signal straight to your phone from the satellite. That is in the future, not happening now. But that is where things are going. And they will dismediate, as it's called, eliminate the need for a phone company. Yes, you will still need niche services from phone companies, but the bulk of home internet and data may go that way. So I want people to understand the threat that Starlink provides. How does acquiring SpeedNet prepare you for that? Shouldn't you save your pennies or your tens of millions and try to future-proof as best as possible BTL against this imminent, or not imminent, this coming existential threat?
Right. Yeah.
That would seem to make sense. That would have more commercial logic
Yeah.
than buying a company,
Yeah.
than acquiring a company that is struggling just like you
Yeah.
and faces with far less resources the same existential threat. So when that existential threat comes and Starlink starts to offer service in Belize, SpeedNet will suffer more.
Yeah.
SpeedNet is less prepared.
You know, like so how comes we do not hear like SpeedNet having this conversation? Or like putting any statement
Why is
saying,
there
okay,
nothing
we're
from
seeing
their
that the existential crisis coming to
employees?
our company, we're moving towards this. Rather than saying, it sounds like a parent company, like BTL sounds like the parent company looking after the well-being of its child or
Exactly.
their,
There's no briefing that's been
And
done
why
for this
is that?
part.
like, yeah, why is this?
That can only be because of the vested interests involved, and I have to call it out. It is so blatant whenever the buyer is the one saying, oh, I want this, like I have said before. It is like you have a child who says, they may have a perfectly good cell phone. I want iPhone 17, I want iPhone 17. Whenever the buyer is making all the noise, that means it's something they don't need. Rule of thumb, right? Everybody in the world wants an iPhone 17. Only about 5% actually need an iPhone 17. But everybody wants it and everybody's making noise. That means you're going to buy a premium product for an inflated price that you can't afford or that is not wisest to purchase it, right? Whenever the excitement comes from the buyer, you're being sold something overpriced. When you go to market, the excitement comes from the seller. Boy, I got this here, I have this peanuts to sell, whatever. That means you're getting a fair price or a competitive price. But when the buyer is making all the noise, that means you're buying a luxury item. You're buying something that does not have the stated value. You're buying it for a premium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? No, that's fine with luxury items, but is it fine with a national telecoms provider? I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
And I just think about the aspect of, like Kevin was mentioning, how you're not hearing anything from Smart, but beyond that, what are the employees saying? Because you have a viewer saying, what has been the situation with briefing employees on what could be? Because we hear about, BTL being not shut down, but closed off until 3 for the next day. We heard about all of that. But what about the Smart
I
employees?
think the Smart employees are kind of left in the dark, and that's very regrettable. I can't imagine what it's like not knowing from week to week, month to month.
What's going to be happening?
Yeah, what's going to be happening. So I think that people are, it is a time for anxiety for them.
But also like the customers of Smart, right? How are they getting involved? Like, are you okay with the service? How do you
Are
feel
you
like
probably thinking about going over right
transitioning?
now?
What
Yeah.
transitioning may look like? All of these things, right? So I'm thinking you also have to have in mind your customers in all this negotiation.
Right, of course. And already, what's amazing, and we brought this out in the news on Friday, that BTL is putting out press releases saying that here's what's going to happen post-acquisition. They are arrogating onto themselves
They
the sole
definitely are.
responsibility of the regulator. You won't need to change the number. Mr. Ashcrofton said that in his statement. They all know what's going to happen, and the PUC is there. We don't know. Please show the pictures of the good members of the PUC, those stellar people. All these people have a conflict of interest. All these people were appointed by the Prime Minister. And listen, you don't serve on these boards as community service. I understand there's an element of service. That's fine. But the reason they serve on these, I shouldn't say the reason, I will restate that. One of the reasons people remain on boards is that you make and leave money, you get steak money. Maybe you eat chicken and now you could eat steak. Respect to these fine gentlemen. Arun Hochandani, my former classmate, Mr. Keith, I don't know that these gentlemen are, and I know Commissioner Young has been there forever. Dean Molina is the chairman. He's an attorney. But I'm saying these persons, a majority of them are appointed because of their political proximity to the Prime Minister. Right? I agree there's an engineer there. I believe Mr. Santos is. And Mr. Commissioner Young, I know that he's been there. He has lots of institutional knowledge. And Dean Molina, an attorney, that's all fine. But I'm saying that these people are all appointed by the Prime Minister. How can
In its
they
press
say,
release yesterday,
no,
BTL
we will
proudly
not
outlined the
approve a
benefits and
sale
realities
that will
of a
benefit the Prime Minister's family $18 million. Right? It's just not in the commercial, in the political logic of how things work. Right? So the PUC, you know, now they're trying to change the position and say that, well, we will now treat BTL as a dominant provider under the law. So, you know, that's another section of the law. So we don't have to deal with them under anti-competitive practices. We will regulate them as a dominant provider.
Okay.
That's provided under the law. So you are accepting, it's almost accepting it as a done deal. Let the board of directors, once, and that's what the PM is building up to. That's what he's saying the statutory instrument will change. We will treat them as a dominant provider. But that means we will let them become a dominant provider. We will abdicate our regulatory duty to create a competitive marketplace environment and allow them to become a dominant provider, and then we'll regulate them. Let us be clear. Okay, and all in the name of maximizing profits, because Social Security has to get its return, and that will be the selling point. But I'm saying, okay, you get that return now, but what happens when Starlink comes? What have you done to future-proof yourself? Oh, okay, well, we bought all this infrastructure. That infrastructure is dead. Death comes from above. Death comes from the satellite. Right? That redundant, super redundant, because BTL has its own redundancies as it should. I'm saying that what happens when that real competitor comes? What have you done to prepare for that? Oh, but we'll increase their return on investment for Social Security. For how long?
Yeah.
At what cost? At $80 million?
Yeah.
How many years of profits? You know, this Northern Caucus release talks about BTL, it will increase BTL's earnings. So, okay, so smart. It's 40 million. Okay. That means their earnings are, what is their profit? Can somebody just tell us what their profit is? Can somebody just say, humor me, we're buying a profitable company. I can accept that. Okay, you're buying a profitable company, so you get them profits. Okay, what are the profits? What is the price? Are the profits 2 million? Are they 3 million? Are they 4 million? So if they're 4 million, you're buying 20 years of profit. You're giving them 20 years of profit in exchange for this asset. It does not make commercial sense, and they will continue to try and pitch it that, well, it will benefit Social Security. For how long? That is the question. The fact is, Mr. Ashcroft and the Brisenia family see the future. And it's tough in telecoms, I understand that, because of the international competition.
Yeah.
But that should not compel the national provider
Absolutely.
to give them a bailout.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have your own hands to pray. All we need a bailout, but we must face the morning.
That's true.
That's the reality.
We have to think outside the box, pivot, and do what we need to make sure that we can get profits.
Future-proof. They need to find a satellite. That's the way they need to spend the $80 million pound. Find one satellite. Court Mr. Musk, tell them we and be a service provider. That's what T-Mobile has done in the United States. T-Mobile is teaming up with Starlink to provide satellite-based phone internet. It's a ways off, but that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
That's now if they say, we're teaming up with Starlink, I could say, all right, I can see how that makes sense for the future.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. I was just going to say what's interesting to note is the profile of the persons that sit within the commission of the Public Utilities Commission in terms of like how relevant are they to the customers, right? Do they understand the struggle of customers given they're of a different status in the country. So it's like seeing how they would advocate for customers and how this may affect them, because they're being quiet through all this process, right? So it's like, do you understand the pains of the people?
If you don't know it properly, and how can you advocate and make sure that people that you're supposed to represent to a certain extent have a voice at that table if you're not necessarily one of those persons going through that struggle?
Yeah.
So,
And that's why the PUC has to speak up, because static shareholder gains. Okay, you're making big money for 2 years, all right, 3 years. But what happens to the marketplace? The marketplace must be dynamic. A monopoly is static, and they are selling us into a monopoly for their own benefit and advantage.
Yeah.
What is the dynamic marketplace benefits consumers? But PUC is happily presiding, I have to say, presiding over a switch to a static monopoly environment, which may benefit shareholders in the short term. But what happens in the longer term? So, it's an issue of great concern, and I think that BTL has bigger fish to fry. The employees were protesting outside. Victor, we have footage of it from last week.
The old employees.
Right, the former employees are protesting outside. Now, let me explain this. The CCJ, all these persons, when they retired, they got a pension. BTL at the time had legal advice saying that, I believe from maybe the Solicitor General or Attorney General at that time, saying that you only need pension, you don't have to get severance. If you're getting pension, it's either or. The Caribbean Court of Justice, the final court of appeal, has ruled that they are entitled to both. So BTL has agreed to pay one batch of employees, and that's going to cost them, I think the chairman said at the press conference, it's going to cost like $10 million. I think the estimate is that it could be 10 to 12 million it's going to cost for that first batch. But this second batch are saying that they are being left out. This second batch is saying, that they are being left out. If BTL includes them, and I believe they are compelled to, and I believe the board of directors is minded to, because it's clear what the law says, that will be another 10 to 12 million dollars. So we're talking about $25 million, over $20 million. And that should be their priority. Let me quote the great Minister of Labor, Karim Musa, who did a clever little thing, right? If you could come back, Victor. He did a clever thing. Everybody has to fall in line behind the king. The king I will maintain, has endorsed the acquisition. But he said a clever thing. It is, as Minister of Labor, it is important for me to weigh in, and I hope I'm not doing so prematurely, but this is a matter that has been ventilated at CCJ. There is no other alternative, Mr. BTL. There is no other appeal process. And so, in my respectful opinion, Mr. BTL, if these employees are qualified for severance based on the CCJ ruling, you have to pay these people, man. That's what he's saying to Mr. BTL. This is a clever way to throw a wrench in the works, by the way. Because how do you think you're in a position today to be buying out other companies if it is not on the backs of these hard-working people from the company? So saith the Minister of Labor. So, he concludes by saying, if the CCJ has given that ruling, and they have, then in my respectful opinion, BTL has to pay them. BTL, you have bigger fish to fry. You're trying to find 80 million to purchase SpeedNet. This entire severance package is going to cost them 20 plus million. The Minister of Labor, an attorney himself, has said that you need to listen to what the CCJ says.
Need to pay the people.
You need to pay those people.
You have other priorities.
So, it's a very clever way for Minister Musa to throw a wrench in the works. They have a legal and moral, but legal obligation to those persons picketing outside, who they tried to send an intimidatory letter to. Their in-house counsel sent a letter to those employees on the day that the protest was starting, an intimidatory letter, but they didn't intimidate them.
They never care. They want
Yes, a toothless intimidation. So but at the same time, we want to ask about the PUC, and I brought it up earlier, and we'll just scan through it here. But
Yeah.
are they protecting the public interest?
Are they?
Or private profits, or are they? And I understand that they will say, well, we're regulating a dominant provider, and that's what we will do. But I don't think the benefit is really there from the shareholders. I'm sorry, for the consumers. And I think that is their first priority. The BTL has acted, to me, flagrantly and punishably in disregard of the Telecoms Act. And, it's a very strong act. It's well written. There are fines and penalties involved. And BTL continues to operate, its board of directors continues to operate heedless to the words of that act, that prior approval must be sought. And the Prime Minister, in his language, and other cabinet members in their language, are saying it is up to the board of directors. It is not up to the board of directors. It is up to the Public Utilities Commission. Let me explain. The board of directors is there to maximize the profits for a company. Good. I understand that. The Public Utilities Commission is there to protect consumers against the rapacious intents of a private company. There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. So I'm saying that the Public Utilities Commission has to stand up at this early stage. Don't wait until they become a dominant provider, or the Prime Minister says, and he's always right, that they already are. I'm saying that you have to get in at the front and say that these are anti-competitive practices. If you are trying to buy out your competition so that there's no competition, that is an anti-competitive practice. That does not benefit the consumer. Yes, we're going to put on regulation. A static marketplace only benefits private profits. And eventually, it's ratepayers who will have to pay that.
Yeah.
So
that means that they're not following their PUC laws either, Jules, if they're pushing for this. I mean, we talked about it last week.
I do not believe they do. I believe that the PUC is obligated to put out a public notice that consumers can object in writing to an intended merger or acquisition. They are obligated, I believe, under the law to put it out to public notice. And if they fail to do so, please show me the board of directors for the PUC. Again, let me appeal to them personally. They are obligated to let the public speak. Put out a public notice that there is a merger, acquisition, a change of license. And I implore on Mr. Molina, Mr. Hochandani, Mr. Keith, the other gentleman, Mr. Santos, the other gentleman, if we could zoom in a little.
Menzies, and Roberto Young.
Yes. If we could appeal to them, do your job. Forget that it's the Prime Minister that put steak on the table. And I don't mean that in a wrong way. I am saying that they are commissioners. That is a paid job. They're appointed, the commissioners are appointed on the advice of the Prime Minister. So I'm not accusing anyone of receiving any funds directly. I would never do that. I want to make that clear. But there is a financial dimension involved. When you serve on boards of directors, we have to be honest about this. And when the Prime Minister appoints you, it is a conflict of interest, I believe. You're put in a very difficult situation. How do you say no to the king? How do you say no to the king when your appointment depends on the king? I want to be very clear on this. Now, this situation has always been the Prime Minister's PUDP have always appointed these members, but they've never been put in a position like this where a prime minister's family stands to benefit $18 million. I call this out from the early days. I remember questioning the prime minister about it from 2020. How can your family own a telecoms company and you be in charge of appointing members of the PUC, which regulates such companies? It's a manifest conflict of interest. So, I think PUC has a duty and an obligation to put out a notice and say, if members of the public object to this, they can write in their objections. That is a part of the process.
Yeah.
Write in your objections, and then a decision will be made based on those. Maybe we might not like the decision, but the public has a right to be heard.
Yeah.
There's going to be, or they want to create a very major shift in the marketplace.
Public should be a part of that.
The public needs to be consulted and needs to be heard.
Yeah. Jules, we move on to our last topic. And this is the UDP denied the permit to protest.
Guess who can't go out?
Yes, so the UDP applied for a permit to protest today. Today is a big day in Belmopan. It will be the first sitting of the National Assembly after the recess, after the Christmas recess. But it will be a special sitting because the president of Guyana, the Federative Republic of Guyana, is going to address a joint sitting of Parliament.
Wow.
Very special occasion. It is the first time we're going to see the newly renovated National Assembly building. So it is the debut of the renovated National Assembly building, right? So, it's fixed up, it's smoothed out a little inside. I'm told it's quite nice. So we're all looking forward to seeing that. These are preparatory works. I hope most of the elements of the brutalist architecture remain. I think that was George Price's vision, even though we try fancy it up. But we will see it over the next week, certainly. So it's a big day. The UDP wanted to protest today to embarrass the government, certainly to advance their public agenda, but to embarrass the government. That would have been a great idea. In terms of optically, I love that. I love when a democracy dances naked if necessary. I love that. But I want to say that they told the UDP, you all applied too late. You applied on Friday and you need 72 hours. You are putting a fetter on the public, on the right to public protest. When they did the one in front of BTL, they only gave 24 hours notice. We saw what happened there. But my point is, and we can show the footage of that, Victor, what happened in front of BTL. But my point is that, so that was the protest in front of BTL that UDP and others had. But they denied them the right to protest, saying you need 72 hours notice. You are putting a fetter on the right of people to protest by introducing a technicality of 72 hours notice. So, yes, the UDP, they did the UDP thing.
Yeah, they're fiery.
Right? Exactly. But I'm just saying, I think that would have been good to have in Belmopan today. I think Dr. Irfan Ali, the president of Guyana, was at the Prime Minister's farm last night. That was his agenda, to go and visit, or yesterday evening, to go and visit the Prime Minister at his farm. It's a very unusual agenda that he has, itinerary. He's going to the Prime Minister's house tonight to have dinner, I believe.
Tonight?
Yes, he's going to the Prime Minister's house tonight to have dinner. It's, it's Mar-a-Lago of Belize, Orange Walk, right? But, it's an unusual itinerary.
I wish it looked so, Jules.
What's that?
I wish it looked so.
Yes, I wish Orange Walk don't look like Mar-a-Lago. That's because you haven't been to the Prime Minister's farm.
Maybe, yeah, because no bus terminal, People's Stadium, the fall apart.
Why they not gonna hustle my farm? That's what really disappoints me. They come and just gonna hustle my farm. He have a nice farm now. But the Prime Minister has his farm, and that's where Dr. Ali went last night, and tonight he's going to the Prime Minister's house, hopefully for some good escabeche. I wish I knew what the menu was.
We know the Prime Minister wash up after he's done, so no worry about it.
The Prime Minister will be washing up after he's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah. But so UDP, I believe that was unfair. But I think that everything should be done to safeguard people's right to protest. I think that even requiring a permit, I can understand for public order is necessary, but even that I believe is a fetter on your right to protest. I don't like people that the police can arbitrarily impose that, well, you need 72 hours, because you already have to get a permit, you have to put down a deposit, a few dollars, but it's a right. And I don't think putting a fetter on a right is good. But we're just about done. I just want to welcome Kareem Musa to the Boys Named Sue Club. Let's give him a hand. Kareem, let's play the audio, guys. We have the audio. Bring it in. Can I hear the audio out here, guys?
There you go.
And I'll tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue.
We have another one. We have another one for the welcome, the boy named Sue.
And I'll tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue.
Welcome, welcome. His attorney at the High Court, Eamon Courtney, President Emeritus for Life of the Boys Named Sue Club. Other distinguished members include recently inducted Lee Mark Chang. Shine Barrow is a vice president of the Boys Named Sue Club. Kareem Musa has earned this because he is suing or has given us notice that he intends to sue Channel 7. I believe other media houses may have received as well for certain words said by Arthur Saldivar, certain words said on the news. And so the very thin-skinned Mr. Kareem, it's words said that have been advanced in court, I believe, but I have to get legal advice. But we want to welcome him. Boys Named Sue Club, I think John Briceño has been in there. I think once upon a time Monche was in there. So, this is a very prestigious club for elite politicians or wannabe politicians. So the Boys Named Sue, welcome Kareem Musa. You're looking good. And let's show him one more time, guys. Boy Named Sue. But yeah, so that's it.
Somebody
for,
said you know
I'll tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue.
Life ain't easy for a boy named Sue.
Jules, and people are asking where's Cordell Hyde in all this conversation about the acquisition.
Cordell Hyde is laying low.
Because people are branding him, as the minister of the poor of the grassroots organizations.
Yeah.
So where is he in all this
I think
conversation about the
he's
acquisition?
laying very low.
He's big chillin'. There's no
He's-
comment. He
he's-
really is not one that gets the interviews or like you guys have.
Yeah, he doesn't, but he doesn't do public events. He appears very rarely at public events. And that's the only time
You could get an
we can
interview
get
with
him.
him.
But he knows that this is not on his side. I think NTUCB is doing a poll online, but it's 98% opposed. Right? This is not in the public interest. The only prime minister who engages in something like this is one who's not running again. It's like, guys, I had to catch out my chips, proverbially speaking. I had to catch out my chips, I'm out. So I'm just saying that I think Cordell Hyde is laying low to avoid having to weigh in on a publicly divisive issue, on an issue that the public is fully hell-bent against, because everyone can see that the lunch is naked and the prime minister has the fork. Anyway, so
The king will reign.
So with that, we come to the end of this
Yes.
Monday morning beef serving, Jules.
yes,
Thank you so much for this.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so if you want to stay for any updates, tune out to the newscast when you have to.
Yes, of course.
I have 2 birthday shout outs to do. And so I'm going to wait to see which picture they put first.
Okay.
But we have 2 beautiful birthday shout outs to do. And of course.
Oh, wait, and we need to show the one with Big Baby. Head top.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Big
I really
baby.
want to that.
So that's Big Baby in the white trunks. And you can see his, they knocked you, see the two-face flap?
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
They need to get better glue. They want to sweat. They need to get sweat resistant glue.
Yes,
The resistant
the
glue.
two-face flap. By the time he finished the fight, he was without it.
You might
But
put it one of the nails.
I'm thinking of, I'll get that two-face one. Say, the two-face. But respect to Big David Gerald Miller, He won the match. He won the match. You know, it wasn't a piece of boxing history. It was kind of a rough fight. Not an elegant, not the sweet science, but yeah. That's what it was. So yeah,
Jules.
I'll get one. A mohawk
You need
toupee.
to get one. Oh
Please, nobody not send to me. I'm not.
Somebody was saying that's.
Somebody
I
was.
was saying, and then with me and there, I help you apply. We have to put.
That'll be good, yeah,
Get that
yeah.
glue though. We have to get because we don't want your one to flop back.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah, when I lose my temper and yeah.
You didn't see flop. Yeah. Imagine Jules not on the thing and the same time not the thing fly back.
Oh gosh. Do we have Harold Young in the house, the great
We have
political
Harold Young,
analyst?
yeah.
analyst? The good news is he's putting out a 500-page book. It costs $100. I said a lot of stupid stuff in that book, but the good
Oh,
news
you're in
is
the book too?
if you want to keep a secret, put it in a book. Nobody's gonna read it. Nobody can afford to buy it. I'm safe. All my stupidity is safe from public scrutiny.
Uh-oh.
Harold Young is coming up, the great political
coming up.
scientist.
We do have a sunrise, but we have 2 birthday shout outs. I'm just waiting for them to get the pictures together, guys. Yeah.
You have the first?
We have the first one.
There you
yes,
go.
this is from my cousin Nicole Pickwood, giving her a happy, blessed 35 years strong. May this new chapter be filled with grace, with love, with happiness, with sunshine. You're doing a great job. May you continue to grow in the Lord, and I love you dearly. Happy, blessed birthday, Nikki. Love you so much, girly. And then we have a next birthday shout out for a young Sunup on 7 fan.
She's turning 13 today.
13 today, all the way down in a PG, and this is for Aris. So we're giving her a big, happy, blessed birthday, Aris. May it be filled with all the wonders of life, joy, happiness, content, and discovery as you take on a new chapter and take on growth and love. Happy
Great
blessed
job.
birthday.
Great job.
And then now we have a sunrise. Make us see if you know where the sunrise is from. I like to test.
Let me see.
Let's see.
If you get it wrong, you have to get a toupee.
Yeah,
If you get it wrong.
that looks like Memorial Park. Am I right? Where is it?
It's around Golden Bay. Yeah.
Golden Bay? Golden Bay.
Yeah.
Where is it, guys?
It's around Golden Bay, close to
Golden Bay,
Memorial Park.
close.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So that means you
Marine
get
Parade.
half of the toupee.
Half the toupee, yeah.
Half of the toupee.
So like he get the bad glue.
He could be like the least in the doll where it had like pieces of hair that stick out. You might look cute. We might make it work. I'll curl it. So with that, guys, we're gonna give you our first commercial break. Bills need to get paid because you know when the boy named Sue comes in, we have to just make sure everything's set up correct.
Oui.
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 So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I sit at the pleasure of the Prime Minister.
And what is the Prime Minister's pleasure? Could it be sealing the deal on an acquisition that will make his family $18 million richer? And why has Chairman Bacon gotten such a lucrative contract to the tune of almost $400,000 a year?
So if the Prime Minister thinks that I'm not doing his job.
But you're doing his job, aren't you? Chairman Bacon is the first chairman in history to be given a fireproof clause. He was appointed for 5 years. Why give him that kind of protection?
The Brazilians to stop exploiting this country and stop saddle Belizeans with debt for your own self-enrichment.
Who's really leading the UDP, and what exactly is their position? Lee Mark is saying keep the violence out of the protest.
I do not believe in violence, first and foremost. We're here to demonstrate, and we must keep the peace.
But Tracy is promising more of the same.
Why we have to take it this far? You haven't seen anything yet. And for us, this is just round 1. Wait for round 2.
After her secret Ashcroft meeting, Tracy says there's room for monopoly in a small country like Belize.
With the population size that we have, there's room for monopolies because we have a small market to serve.
But at their protest, her chairlady says there's absolutely no space for a monopoly.
There is no space for monopolies at all. No space.
But then, even Tracy herself, after being exposed with Ashcroft, has professedly gone from yes to no.
No to a monopoly.
So what exactly is their position? And who ultimately has the last word on what the UDP position is? Is the decision being made on the ground?
No to a monopoly.
Or on the yacht?
There's room for monopoly.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023 in the...
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sherry Culsel, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Endure Craft.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sunup on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Who's really leading the UDP, and what exactly is their position? Lee Mark is saying keep the violence out of the protest.
I do not believe in violence, first and foremost. We're here to demonstrate, and we must keep the peace.
But Tracy is promising more of the same.
Why we have to take it this far? You haven't seen anything yet. And for us, this is just round one. Wait for round two.
After her secret Ashcroft meeting, Tracy says there's room for monopoly in a small country like Belize.
With the population size that we have, there's room for monopolies because we have a small market to serve.
But at their protest, her chairlady says there's absolutely no space for a monopoly.
There is no space for monopolies at all. No space.
But then, even Tracy herself, after being exposed with Ashcroft, has professedly gone from yes to no.
No to a monopoly.
So what exactly is their position? And who ultimately has the last word on what the UDP position is? Is the decision being made on the ground?
No to a monopoly.
Or on the yacht?
There's room for monopoly.
Muy buenos dias, beautiful Sunup on 7 family. Welcome back to your Monday episode. Just before the commercial break, we had a great conversation with Jules on the Monday Morning Beef. If you want to stay to any updates, you can look at tonight's newscast. But of course, it sets the trend for what can we expect this week in all our conversations. Move on to our first guest conversation. We're very excited about this because we're talking about a new book launch called Political Voices of Belize. And we're going to be talking with the author, Dr. Harold Young, on our set. Dr. Young, good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
It's a pleasure to have you on our couch today. You know, right after Jules. I hope the couch is warm.
It's hot. Yeah. It's hot. It's hot.
How is your energy today from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest?
9.5.
9.5.
Yes.
Do you want to share your secret about it?
No teeth, no money.
No teeth, no money. That makes you sleep good at night, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
and a good sleep is equal to a good energy level. Well, we're definitely excited about this conversation, and congratulations for your new book launch is going to be on Thursday, which is Political Voices of Belize. We're very excited to talk about it because we want to get our viewers connected with it, and of course, hopefully they also show up at the book launch, to find out more details about it.
Jules is in it too. He done mention it, and he done say how he gave some information that he wish he didn't say, but it's in there either way. So
Yeah.
I think on that same note, let's talk a little bit about what this book really entails, because we understand, there are persons that you influence, but what was the idea, the thought process behind creating political voices?
Yeah. Well, it didn't start out. In this format.
Okay.
So research has a way of meandering and morphing into different things, right? But it really came from some earlier research I was doing on something completely unrelated, to do with Belize, but unrelated. And then I realized that the information and that part of our political history was not easily available to read. There are books on the market. I mean, the outstanding one is, of course, Asad Schuman's Party Politics in Belize, which was originally in the 80s, I think. So there's not a lot of information, not a lot of writing, literature on modern politics in Belize. So that's where the idea came from originally when I was working on something else. So then when I started to plan this project, the idea was to write a kind of like a textbook. And to support the textbook's content, I would interview these people.
Okay.
So I started with a list of like 50 people that I was going to talk to.
That's a lot of people.
A lot, yeah. It was a big list, right? And then when I had the list and I said, okay, I have some low-hanging fruit, people that I can easily access, right? That are available, that would give me the time. And it turned out that the first two people, not necessarily on the list, but the first two people I was able to access was former Prime Minister Said Musa and now deceased Ralph Fonseca.
Wow.
Right? So, and after those two interviews, I realized, maybe naively on my part, that these interviews didn't need me to get in between what they were saying and the reader. The reader could read what they were saying directly.
Gotcha.
Because they spoke so well. When I say well, I don't mean that, I mean in the sense that they were so honest and they gave a lot of information and they had good concepts of what was going on and their perspective on things that people needed to read. They didn't need me to filter it and write it into something else. So I decided, no, these interviews are valid. So I created the list down, added some people, changed out some people, and got down to 12, and then did those 12 interviews and gave each interview a chapter.
Can you share, like, what was your process of curating these 12 interviews?
Yeah, so I kind of I want to say kept away. The idea was to capture some of the earlier political history. So starting like in the late 60s with like when the UBAD movement and then the formation of the UDP. So that era, that arc that led into independence and then just post-independence. So I needed people who went through that. So that's why I have people like Asad Schuman, who was on side, of course, from the 60s. They came back in the late 60s and they were, UBAD. And so that was kind of what I was thinking. And then I needed some younger people, but who, when you, like Jules, for example, and Audrey Wallace, they are much younger, but they were from very highly political families. So their experiences from that view as teenagers, looking at what the Asad Schumans and the Said Musas were doing at the time was interesting too, to see how they were viewing what these older people were doing. And so that's why I had that range of people. So it ranges from, people in their 80s to people in the early 50s.
Wow, so we have a good mixture of like the colonial
and then people
rule,
in between,
and then we go into like post-independence.
But with their knowledge of what it looked like the decades before.
Yeah, so from what I understand, like you also picked them based on their duration within the public service and their engagement and impact in pivotal national matters.
Right, so there are some very well-known people, but they are associated with just small parts of the history, right?
Yeah.
I tried to pick people who had a longer arc of involvement and influence. It's not that other people aren't important. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that was the arc I was looking for, that arc to link it to the modern day. Because, and you all interview a lot of people, and you know that a lot of us don't know a lot about politics and history. I don't mean politics, party politics. I mean the history of it, what goes on, right?
Yeah, of course.
A lot of that people don't remember. 65%, 70% of the population was born since independence. right?
Yeah.
So just that part, the people don't
Yeah.
have that connection to how we got to where we are now. And so I'm trying to give that bridge and insight, and you can read directly to the people you can read directly what the people who were there said.
Okay, so,
really
so in that regard, in giving people the landscape of like political, I guess, how it's evolved in Belize, who is your target audience whenever you publish? Who are you thinking about?
I'm thinking really about that demographic, that number I just mentioned, the 70% of people who were born post-independence. Because the other facet of the book is when I was interviewing the person, I recorded it, so I didn't have to write notes, right? So I could really listen to what they were saying.
Nice. Okay.
And then when they mentioned somebody, they would say, this person was there that helped. That person is important. But I didn't have to stop and say, or I didn't stop and say, tell me about that person. What I did was I footnoted, I researched it and footnoted that person. So each chapter has about average of 4 to 7 pages of footnotes.
Oui.
So you can get a little bit about everybody they talked about and how it fit into the picture, right? Because it shows how many people were involved. Because I don't want to give the impression that these people were the only ones doing anything. There were lots and lots of other people who played roles in their lives that made them to where they are, right?
Yeah.
And the acknowledgement.
Yes, so I gave them that nudge by footnoting. And then I also did some family connections, like who is related to who.
You did a family tree?
Well, not in there, not quite like that.
Because I'm just going to be like...
No, not quite like that. But I would say, just something simple like, Eamon Courtney is one of the interviewees.
Yeah.
And his family has always been involved in politics for a long time, right? So it goes back to Sir Harrison and the significance of Sir Harrison, that the former Prime Minister Barrow is related to Dennis Barrow, who is on the Caribbean Court of Justice, who is Shine Barrow's father and uncle, and how they're related to Michael Finnegan. So it has that kind of thing where you can really make some of the connections. Right?
Yeah. On a personal level, I can see where I would love to get my hands on this book because it helps me to understand, like how far we've come, what has happened, to understand where we are presently. And, as an advocate for human rights, it helps me to be like, history repeats itself, right? And there's so many things that we can learn from it and say, okay, these things have been done and what we can apply in the future, better understand the dynamics of politics. But for somebody else that's, thinking, if I grab this book, how are you envisioning this to influence their way of thinking, their way of
looking at politics?
What is it?
Yeah, that's a good question because in my limited amount of people I interact with of all ages, there's this thing that everything that's happening now is new and nothing happened before, like what you're saying, right? And so when you hear people talk in the interviews, they actually point out some of the things that have been overcome, the challenges that were there, that has been overcome, some of the things that still linger, right? And one of the important things I think that came out was, and I highlight it in the introduction because I write, it's analysis of what they said, is the friction or the friction between the person who put themselves into public life and what they want, what they think they want to do. And what happens when that comes in conflict with what the party wants. Right? Where do you make the decision about, am I going to stick to what I want to do and my standards and levels, or am I going to give in, I guess, or do the will of the party?
The status quo of things.
Right.
Yeah.
And that happens throughout history. And when you read a lot of the interviewees, they actually talk about that. Like there's this point where, what do I do? How do I reconcile this? And they reconcile it in different ways. And I don't want to give away too much of what's in the book, but former Prime Minister Said Musa was very gracious, and he said at one point, looking back at it now, he realized at one point he was too in love with the party. Right? And then you have other people who said, I got to a point where I realized I needed to leave politics. And so I left.
Wow.
right? But that's what's going on. There's this huge, always this, we think that politicians are callous and just cavalier with everything they do, but I think they have conflict. It's how they resolve it when it comes up. And I think the book brings out some of that with a lot of the people.
I love
a lot of the interviewees.
It's quite intriguing.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's interesting to see, and I just like the idea of this is literally what they said, that, you just put it on the pages.
So when you read it, you'll see, I use the initials, so HY, Harold Young, ask this, the person says that. I ask this, the person says that. And it's not as scripted in the sense of, I didn't go in there with 100 questions. I had some themes that I knew each person, connected with, like, G7, for example, the people were involved in G7, so I knew to ask them about that.
Right.
But, so it flows from their answers. My questions flows from their answers as it goes along. And it comes out. So the story comes out that way.
This is really interesting.
And then the other thing I want to say, is it looks, the book is 735 pages, right? But don't be daunted by that.
Like Jules said 500.
537 pages. But don't be daunted by that, because you can go in and say, I want to read Jules' interview. And you can read that chapter on Jules, and it's not connected. You don't have to have read their chapters before. So you can go in and say, I want to read Jules' interview, and I read that and go, oh, Jules mentioned, Ralph Fonseca, so let me read Ralph's. So I'll read Ralph Fonseca's. So you don't have to read from the very beginning. I would suggest that you read the introduction first, because it sets the whole tone for the book. But you don't have to read it page to page for it to make sense. It's interesting, you could just open it and say, I want to know about this person. Right? Okay. And then each chapter, as I said, has these footnotes. And you can say, oh, this is what, and if you want to do further research, you could go look up that person. Like they mentioned somebody, you could go look them up. Or meet them or something if you want to. So that's...
Yeah, so earlier, like I asked, how do you envision this book to be able to influence the thought process of Belizeans or anybody that gets an access to it? But yeah, I was going to reach, like, where would you see this book fitting into?
I'm hoping that some of the lecturers, teachers in the junior college and the universities will pick it up and bring parts of it into their curriculum, into the class, with class work. Because I think it will engage, and it has pictures, but there are pictures.
I saw pictures when you're open, I was like, oh, there are pictures.
Yeah, there are pictures, Each interviewee, I have like 5 or 6 pictures, 4, 5 or 6 pictures of the interviewee, and not just, not just like their official pictures, like from when they were kids or young people, historical pictures too. So you get kind of like a feel more for the person.
You know what I'm looking for, Joe, for this book specifically? Because I love that you bring up kind of the human aspect of people fighting internally of what they're going to do. And like the question of like, at what cost? Like, what do you give up? And
that's deep.
And that's with politics, that's a thing that we look at often, and we have a lot to say towards like what this person is doing or so forth, and we don't necessarily look at what cost do they do something or not do something? And what are repercussions that come from that? Especially when you look at politics. So I think that is like a lot of question. That's a question I'm looking to see how people answer that, and what did they give up?
And also you see people's how people's thoughts change over their lifetime, especially with the younger people, right? The younger, like. And some of them never changed because they were influenced by their family so much and never changed. But it's how people view things differently. As they got older. And so that's also interesting. One other thing I make before your question is, the book does not have, nobody's title is used. By that, if you are minister this, like I don't refer to the person as, I don't use that. Like Sir Harrison Courtney, I don't use the sir. Michael Ashcroft is mentioned. I don't use Sir Michael Ashcroft. I don't know. It's just a person's name. The whole thing is stripped of any accolade or any title.
What's the reason behind that?
Because I want the reader to not feel intimidated. I want you to feel you're talking to somebody, literally talking to the person.
I get it.
Not this person with this title. Because you're trying to talk to the person. So it's stripped of all, if you
and I can see
people
that
notice
beneficial for young people specifically.
It's stripped of all that.
Very good.
No excellency, no ambassador, no nothing. No senator, no minister, no. Those titles are not used.
So before I ask details about the book launch, which we are very interested to find out, is what is, like, if you could give us like one takeaway from the book, what is that?
That's a good question.
that politicians, people who go into politics, rarely go in with or don't go in with bad intent. They all go in feeling that they have something to contribute and they want to help. How that plays out when down the road is a different thing. But I will say I feel that they all entered to do good, to try to contribute. And I think we don't appreciate that enough when it comes down the road when things may not go, how we want it to go. I think one person that stands out, I will say, and is Assad Schumann. I think he's much not appreciated enough in Belize. Assad's entire career from when he came back from university in 1967 or 68, has been public life in some way. And underpinning his entire public life to today, and he's now 81, I think, right, has been the Guatemalan issue.
Man, that has been going on for forever.
Yes. His entire career is underpinned by that. Solving that, a benchmark was independence, but still, that's been the underlying. And that shows real commitment to something. Right? Shows real commitment.
Yeah.
Real commitment.
Yeah. So somebody's saying your book is timeless.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, I hope so. Yes. Because we hear, they also, sorry, let me say, what you're getting is somebody sitting in the calm of an interview, sitting across from me. Most of them were in their homes. So there were no lights, there were no cameras, I wasn't recording, and we just talked. I didn't, and they had the option to tell me things that they didn't want included, but to give me for context, like they could say, so and so happened, but this is what I wanted presented. So it's really there, as honest as you're going to get people to be.
Very good, very good.
So you want to say who all is in the book?
I was going to ask you about that, because you said you summarized it to 12 people.
12 people.
So who are those persons?
Henry Young,
okay.
Assad Schumann, Said Musa, Sede Elrington, Dolores Baramos Garcia, Michael Finnegan, Lois Young, Eamon Courtney, Audrey Wallace, and Jules Vasquez.
Wow. Okay.
Look at that.
Ralph Fonseca.
Ralph Fonseca.
I was just going to say.
Ralph Fonseca.
Wow.
Yes.
What a good mix.
Yes. So you get a good view of things, how people were looking at politics from both sides, how they viewed each other. Yeah. No, that's a really I'm glad you brought it up, but that was a harder part. The pool was less, not because women aren't involved in politics, but because they tend to be supportive roles, as opposed to putting themselves out in a long period, in a long arc of involvement. Because, for example, Dolores Baramos Garcia has been in politics 40 years.
Yes.
She is singly the most. She's singly most successful female politician in Belize.
Yeah.
Over the arc of time.
100%.
Right? So people don't really think about that and how hard that is.
Yeah.
And I talked to her about that. And she will tell you what she thought, how she approached it, right?
Wow.
So and some of the things they have to put up with, right?
Especially as a woman,
And also what comes through is the huge influence, again, for the younger population, younger audience to realize, the huge influence of George Price.
Really?
Over all of them?
Over all of them.
Wow.
It permeates everybody's political outlook. And some of their involvement in politics.
Wow.
Directly.
Wow. You've given me a proper teaser into
I know,
I am so intrigued.
He permeates
all right.
Everything.
Yeah. So thank you so much for giving us an overview of what can people expect of political voices of Belize. The book launches on Thursday.
On Thursday. Everybody's invited to come.
Everybody's invited to come.
It's not going to be a long program, so you're going to get a time to ask questions and talk to me. It's not going to be a big not a long formal program. We'll have a formal program.
Can you give us details where the book launch will be and what time?
Yes, it's going to be at the House of Culture, the old government house. And 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Everybody can come. And I have books to sell and sign in.
Okay.
the book is $100 charge. One charge price or one blue note.
There you go. One charge price.
One charge, yeah, one blue note.
That's a cool one. I like how you said that. One charge.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about change.
Okay.
And then it will be available afterwards. I'll have two locations. It will be the Gallery Cafe, which is on Northfront Street.
Right.
And Baked on the other side of town. We'll have books for sale there
Do you have an idea more or less when that will be available?
Right after the launch.
Right after the
Right
launch.
after the launch, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I expect the
Perfect.
books to come from the printers any days now, and then it will be available right after the launch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dr. Young, we thank you so much for joining us today on Sunup on 7, inviting our viewers to join you at the book launch. Again, we celebrate and we thank you for compiling, like these stories of these politicians, these political figures, and giving us, an overview. And I hope that people are able to connect with it, absorb what is in the context, and see how they can apply it in their present.
And how you view politics. And thinking about what role you want to play, because not everybody plays the same role. Some of them, they do different things, but all of them have been very public.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking if it's going to be on Amazon.
Eventually, but not right off. It's locally published. I spent the money here, and it probably, but it will go on 501.
Oh, okay.
It will go on 501.
Okay.
Yeah, Sarah is the publisher, Image Factory, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to do whatever they need to do to get it up on 501. So it'll be free eventually, but not hard copies. But I want people to get the hard copies. It's a good resource to have. And
I'm hoping to get it in some schools, man.
well, I hope for yeah. So the editor is Melissa Espat, and she teaches at SJC, SJCJC, yeah. So she's talked about using it in her class and getting people to read, and it's not a difficult read. Don't let the size of it fool you. It really is not a difficult read.
Guys.
Yeah, it's a really smooth, nice, engaging read. It's not.
Somebody's also asking if you're coming to Belmopan.
Not yet, not right now. There's no plan because of other reasons. My time is constrained.
Very good.
I love it because people are in the chat. They're like, I want this book. And it's definitely going to be a good read. I'm looking at it, guys. Again, for those persons that were not maybe a part of the beginning conversation or whatever it is, this is looking at 12 different chapters. Well, it has more than that, but the 12 different interviews that you can look for is Henry Young Sr., Said Musa, Asad Showman, Ralph Fonseca, Wilfred Ellerington, Lois Young, Michael Finnegan, Dolores Balaramas Garcia, John Briseño, Eamon Courtney, Audrey Wallace, and Jules Vasquez. So definitely.
Another interesting note too, as you see, some people are actually in office now.
Yeah.
And some people are out. And that also has a little different how they present their story. If you're in office and if you're out, there's a little difference in how they present their stories. Yes.
This is going to be good, guys. And remember, you don't necessarily, it's not, you start from the beginning and go to the end. You can literally pick a chapter and dive into. And they're footnotes.
Yes, lots of footnotes explaining who people are, events, places. There's a lot of historical things, like when people mention, a public meeting at Harley's Lot. Nobody knows what Harley's Lot anymore, right? Right? So it has a little note about what Harley's Lot is, where it was. It's where Scotiabank
Nice.
But so yeah, it has lots of things like that that will give you more of the context of what people are talking about and where things were and how things worked.
I love it.
It has a lot of information like that in the notes.
I love the tag that it can have in decolonization, right?
Yeah.
Because we're often talking about, we should be having a history from our perspective rather than from the invader's perspective, right?
That's another big part.
Yeah. So it's good that we are able to absorb this and decolonize ourselves.
And the name of the book, once again, is Political Voices of Belize, for those of you that are asking. Sorry.
Political Voices
in Belize, apologies. So you guys need to get the book. So we're having 12 different interviews. It's an exciting book, guys. The launch is happening this Thursday. For those of you that need to get your copy, try your best to get your copy. I'm sure there's a limited amount that has been printed. So first come, first serve.
Definitely.
But look out for it also on 501 Academy too.
Eventually we go.
It's eventually going to be there. So yeah.
As a resource. This is not
great resource.
This is for Belize.
Very good. So see you with the copies on Thursday to be able to make your purchase. And thank you so much
Thank you all for having me.
joining
Thank you,
us.
Belize, and I hope you all come out enjoy.
On
Most
Thursday. Yeah.
definitely.
And before our commercial break, we have to make an announcement that there is a road traffic accident near the first roundabout of the Philip Golson Highway, and there's two commuter buses that were involved. So everybody's to expect traffic delays. You can see it right there on your screen. So there's two buses from Orange Walk and one bus from Boom that got involved in this traffic accident. So if you're navigating this area, to please know that you're going to be stuck in traffic, find other ways to be able to navigate the city, and we hope that there's no fatalities involved in this accident. It's 7:58. I hope they make it on time to work. Yeah, but oof, what a thing with these buses, right? Everybody rushing, trying to
racing.
The race, the big race that they have.
The race for getting there before 8. But folks, we hope that if you know anybody that's traveling in those buses, check in on them. I'm sure it could be traumatizing to be involved in a traffic accident, and we hope that people are safe.
So most definitely, guys, we're going to go to our next commercial break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
These charter mints aren't from
We're
an
navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Cherie Culsel, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm a bureaucrat.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Who's really leading the UDP, and what exactly is their position? Lee Mark is saying keep the violence out of the protest.
I do not believe in violence, first and foremost. We're here to demonstrate, and we must keep the peace.
But Tracy is promising more of the same.
Why we have to take it this far? You haven't seen anything yet. And for us, this is just round one. Wait for round two.
After her secret Ashcroft meeting, Tracy says there's room for monopoly in a small country like Belize.
With the population size that we have, there's room for monopolies because we have a small market to serve.
But at their protest, her chairlady says there's absolutely no space for a monopoly.
There is no space for monopolies at all. No space.
But then, even Tracy herself, after being exposed with Ashcroft, has professedly gone from yes to no.
No to a monopoly.
So what exactly is their position? And who ultimately has the last word on what the UDP position is? Is the decision being made on the ground?
No to a monopoly.
Or on the yacht?
There's room for monopoly.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sunup on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
And we are back, Boozlers, and thank you so much for staying with us. Just before the break, we had a dynamic, exciting conversation about political voices in Belize, a new book that's going to be launched on Thursday at the House of Culture at 7 p.m. Correct me if I'm wrong. 6 p.m. You see, 6 p.m. Make sure we get the date and the time correct. Come out and get your copy. It's $100. We're taking cash only, babe. Come out and have a great time. But we're moving into our next exciting, very important, and timely conversation with Dr. Rachel A. Corridon, that is an OBGYN, and we have her via Zoom. And she's from Trinidad, so we're really excited to be getting our Caribbean brothers and sisters in the conversation as always. So, Dr. Rachel, talk to us. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, Belize. I am doing very well, and thank you so much for having me on the program. I'm excited to chat with you guys as well as a fellow Caribbean sister.
Yes! And then,
folks in Trinidad.
Yeah, all the Trinidad people, big up to you guys. Which part of Trinidad are you from? Kevin's checking out, just to see.
I am from the east, very near to the airport.
Okay, nice. Well, over here in Belize, we're having a very chilly time, so we're hoping that the Caribbean warmness comes from your vibe and you warm us up too. But this is a great conversation, and thank you so much for creating the space and being able to, engage with us on cervical cancer. We understand that January, as we're just coming off, that was a cervical cancer awareness month, and it's really important to keep these conversations alive, and it's very timely for persons to take care of themselves. On the note of cervical cancer, what would you say, as a doctor, has been one of the things or the big myths, before we even get into things too deep, that people often think when they think about cervical cancer, the thing that you have to say, that's not really how it goes, that's not how it is, etc., etc.?
Well, the first thing is, it can never happen to me. That's the first thing. And if there's no problem, I don't need to get checked. Everything is fine. So no news is good news. You know, in the Caribbean, we don't like to go to the doctor. We wait until the last minute. We don't want to be checked. If nothing is happening outwardly, then I don't need to have a check. And so just like with breast cancer and the need for breast screening, that lack of education and that lack of drive for women to get themselves checked, I think that is one of the main issues that we deal with when trying to get a handle on cervical cancer and cervical cancer prevention.
That is true. I hear that, very common where people are afraid of going to the doctor because they are, again, they have the fear of what the result may be.
So when I go,
Right.
if I don't know, if I don't go and I know,
Exactly.
it not hurt.
Yeah, but one thing we've understood, from being healthy and being able to maintain your well-being, and now we're drawing it to cervical cancer, is that prevention, like doing your screening, is very important in prevention, but also in being able to access early treatment. Are we right with making that statement, Dr. Rachel?
Yes, you are very, very correct. With cervical cancer specifically, it's one of the cancers that we can actually prevent and we wish we can eradicate. Simply because cervical cancer is not something, unless it's an unusual, aggressive type, it's not something that happens yesterday and you see it today. It's something that happens over time with abnormal changes on the cells of the neck of the womb, which we call the cervix.
Yeah.
And if we are able to find these changes early, detection, we are able to act before we have the change fully over into an invasive cancer. And by that, we can save so many lives, just as you said, by early detection.
Very good. So let's talk about, the screening process, because we really want people to, be more proactive with their, looking after their health. How often should someone go for a screening? What are the recommendations in terms of age, in terms of, I know there's certain processes in terms of certain days during your menstrual cycle, all of these things. What is the guide that you have to provide to persons as in regards to screening for cervical cancer?
Well, screening for cervical cancer is very geographic or location specific.
Okay.
So the ages can vary slightly based on where you are coming from. I did a little research and I think Belize, they start at 21, similar to the US. In the UK, they start at 25. But generally, between the ages of 21 to 65, a woman should be having her routine pap smear.
Okay.
And we want to do this every 3 years. And if we add something called HPV testing, which we can speak about HPV as we go along in the conversation, but if we add human papillomavirus testing to your cervical cancer pap test or your cervical pap test, we are able to actually stretch that cervical screening out to every 5 years. Once you have a negative HPV test. With respect to when you want to do your screening, you want to do it typically at the end of your cycle when you're no longer bleeding.
Okay.
Because bleeding or having red blood cells in the sample can sometimes obscure the test.
Okay.
And so we also want to encourage you not to have unprotected intercourse right before your test, because we can see the sperm, it can overshadow some of our cells, and that could be in the sample as well. So these are some of the things we want you to think about when getting your smear done. We want you to know that you have to do it between the ages of, let's say, 21 to 65. And after the age of 65, once you've had normal smears, I usually would tell my patients, you have graduated, here's your hat. You are no longer in the system.
Very good.
Oh, wow.
That was super helpful. Thank you so much for giving that guide to persons that are, thinking about going to get their pups.
I want to ask, because I know you mentioned HPV now. Do you recommend, or what is your outlook on having persons get tested for HPV and then you get your pap smear? Is there a thing where you'd really recommend that has to be done before? or not aspect.
Or in combination.
Or combination, thanks, Kev. Like, I'm wondering in that aspect, because people don't necessarily look at HPV, they're just thinking about doing my screening, but how necessary do you think it is to also get the testing for the HPV before, together, afterwards? What is that looking like?
That is an excellent question. Now, again, it all depends on your jurisdiction. In the UK, for instance, they have started primary HPV screening. So that means you can do just the HPV test, and once it is negative, you go on to every 5 years testing, just primary screening. In other jurisdictions, you can do your pap test alone. And in other jurisdictions, they encourage the core test. That's where you do both the pap smear and you add HPV testing to that current pap smear sample. Additionally, we can do reflex HPV testing. For instance, if we get back a pap smear result that has a low-grade abnormality, we can then do an HPV test to place that patient into a risk category. If the HPV test is negative, we can reassure the patient and put her back into the screening system schedule. But if the HPV test is positive, we can now direct the patient to further testing, for instance, colposcopy and biopsy. So we can use the HPV test in different ways. We can use it for primary screening in place of a pap smear. We can do it with the pap smear, or we can use it as a reflex test to categorize our patients in terms of risk so that we can reassure or send forward for further testing.
Very well. Thank you so much for that. Dr. Rachel, I would like to get your perspective on this. In Belize, we do have HPV vaccines available. How would you recommend the use of HPV vaccines in terms of prevention? Is it something that you advocate for?
Definitely. The WHO, as one of its mandates with respect to cervical cancer and trying to eradicate cervical cancer, they are actually trying to get 90% of our girls, they're focusing on girls, but girls and boys can be vaccinated. They want to get 90% of our girls vaccinated by the age of 15. Why do we want to vaccinate early? We want to catch the adolescents before they have started having sexual activity. And the reason is HPV is actually one of the most common, commonly transmitted sexual infections. So if we can vaccinate before you come in contact with the virus, we are able to prevent not only cervical cancer, but we have to remember that it also involves the anus, head and neck cancers, like the throat, the tongue. We can also prevent non-cancerous lesions such as genital warts, which could be very, very traumatic for someone when it happens to them. So HPV vaccination is something that is very important. If we are able to educate and encourage our parents to bring our adolescents to the clinics, get them vaccinated, make the vaccines available. If we are able to, in Trinidad and Tobago, for instance, the HPV vaccine is available for free in our local healthcare system. If we are able to do things like that, improve access, improve education, improve understanding so that we can improve and increase uptake, then we are able to do better with reducing our cervical cancer and other cancers with respect to HPV.
Very good. Thank you so much for that information. I'm sure that people are able to connect and understand better the importance or the value of getting an HPV vaccine, especially to our young adolescents in terms of prevention of HPV, which from what I've gathered is an agent for for cancer to develop, because you mentioned like anus and throat and tongue and all of these things. Dr. Rachel, as I start winding down this conversation, I want to ask you about the treatment for HPV. Is there like any new treatment that you've heard of that, makes people more hopeful in terms of like, if they were ever diagnosed with cervical cancer, like my chances of, getting cured is high, right? So like what kind of like treatments is available for for cervical cancer, and what is the success rate for the treatment?
What we know is that if you are detected and treated early, your chances of survival exceed 80 to 90%.
Okay.
That is what is important. So what is important is stressing, again, screening and early detection. Once we have noted either HPV present in a pap smear sample, or we have a high-grade abnormality in the cells, we then forward that woman towards colposcopy and biopsy.
Okay.
With these biopsies, we are sometimes able to actually treat by removing a significant portion of the inner cervix that is housing the abnormal cells. And when we remove, we call it a wedge of tissue, when we remove that tissue and we send it to the lab, the laboratory is able to explain to us or tell us if the margins are clear of disease. And it's very reassuring when the margins are clear, because then we can say that is actually curative. And in fact, we also know that for some women, as we discuss on a case-by-case basis, even after having an abnormal pap smear and going through treatment, we can actually consider HPV vaccination, even in that woman, on a case-by-case basis. The reason is there are many serotypes of HPV that can cause both high-risk lesions, which would be cancers, and the low-risk lesions, which would be like your warts. So there may be still room and a place for HPV vaccination, even in a woman who has had an abnormal pap and had treatment. With respect to treatment for cervical cancer, that is a wide range in terms of the discussion. And that discussion doesn't only include the general gynecologist, but it also includes the gyne-oncologist. That is a subspecialty in gynecology. We have the medical oncologist, that's the person that is going to be issuing probably your chemo. You have also the radiation oncologist, that's the person that's going to be guiding your radiation therapy if it is required. We also have other specialties, such as your radiologist, who is going to tell you how advanced and try to stage before surgery, and also your pathologist. So it's a very wide-ranging conversation that we have when we are now discussing and trying to determine how we are going to treat our patient that has now been diagnosed with cervical cancer. And we are here to support our patients, but we also want to encourage vaccination, screening, early detection.
Very
because
well.
it saves lives.
Thank you so much. I do have one last question, Ren, and
Sure.
and this is, for I am maybe we may have a viewer at the moment who has cervical cancer undergoing treatment, or somebody who knows somebody who's going through cervical cancer treatment or diagnosis. If you were to have like a bedside talk to this person that is tuned in, what words of advice, recommendations would you have for them, in terms of like looking after your well-being? I don't know. What would your bedside talk be for them?
Well, we do know that when women are going through difficult diagnoses, or anyone going through a difficult diagnosis, the first thing that they need is a listening ear. They need comfort, and they need reassurance. They also need to know that they have a voice in their own treatment and management course. So we want to work with our patients. So at the bedside, that's what I would be. I would be that listening ear. But at the same time, I want to give my patient all of their options in a way that they can understand. And if the patient says, "Doc, not today," I'm going to respect that as well. because it's a day-by-day process. Every day is not going to be the same. This patient may be going through the rigors of having hair loss or having the nausea and the vomiting and the weight loss of going through the adjuvant treatment such as chemotherapy. So it's all about understanding and encouragement. Also, I would advise that we involve the family once the patient allows it. I always encourage family support, community, because that is so important. And of course, if that patient has a basis of faith, like I do, I would also tap in or encourage the patient to tap in to that source of faith so that they are able to find strength as they navigate their diagnosis.
Very well. Thank you so much.
And definitely, if somebody's listening right now, how would they, if they would like to get some medical advice or so forth, how would they be able to contact you, Dr. Rachel, if they would want to be able to just get a consultation of some kind?
Sure. You can reach me or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as your gentle gynecologist. You can also go to my website, www.yourgentlegynecologist.com, and go to the bottom of the page and drop me a message with your email address attached, and I will reply. You can also reach through WhatsApp at 1-868-494-6669. I am always open once I am available to answer questions within reason. Of course, we do know that the social media is not always the platform to deal with direct medical issues, but as long as I am able to assist and help, encourage, guide, that's what my my mantra is. I want to be a doctor that is able to educate women and lift them by giving them the tools to manage their health.
And it's appreciated. We truly appreciate this conversation, and for our viewers that we're learning and understanding a little bit more, especially when it comes to the HPV and understanding, you know, about vaccinations and the need for screening. I think it really comes in a timely manner when we're beginning the year off, and we should begin the year off in a healthy manner of screening and being mindful. So thank you so much for this conversation. We hope it's not the last.
Yeah, Dr. Rachel, gentle gynecologist fits you well. That's a great title for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rachel. We wish you a fantastic Monday. All the best to you today and what you have ahead for the week. We look forward to a future conversation with you.
Likewise to you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Belize.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And with that, guys, we've come to the ending of the show. We want to thank, of course, Dr. Howard Young that is going to launch his book very soon, this Thursday, Political Voices in Belize at the House of Culture at 6 p.m. You can come out. They sell for $100 a copy. They're not present at Amazon as yet, but he will be also later on be uploading it to the 501 Academy, and so you can be able to get it there. But for those of you, there are a limited amount of copies that you can be able to get at the House of Culture when he's there, and thereof after it's going to be available at Baked. And I don't remember the other place, but I know I heard
the
Baked.
Image Cafe or something like that.
Image Factory. I was like, Image Cafe.
Yeah, there's a cafe there.
There is. Yes, true. So definitely, guys.
We do have like similar patterns today with our sweaters.
Oh, we do. We look nice. Let's smile, Kev. But guys,
the things you make me do.
It was too,
the things you make me do.
And you do it too. No, you don't realize, you don't even question it. Like, you just do it. Like,
I
you
just
don't
do
even
it.
double
But then
think.
I catch myself in it, right? And I'm like, I love it. Thank you so much. We need people like you in our lives for sure. Yeah.
So guys, we've come to the ending of the show. 8:29, one more minute to the time. I'm reminding you to check out the news tonight to see all the things that we'll be reporting on, and join Brendan and myself tomorrow for a Dynamic Two Tables Tuesday.
That is true.
Take care, guys, and remember to be comfortable with getting uncomfortable as you navigate life.
I thought you were going to say make sure you put some lotion today.
Hey, be a today. Oh no, please put some lotion, baby oil.
Yeah.
If that spit you have to do for
Coconut oil also works really well. Yeah.
Babe, but not everybody got money. Feel like they do not coconut oil. They must think about cook it. No, like put it on you, maybe, you know.
I've been using coconut oil. Yeah.
Kevin got coconut oil money to be
Well, like while I cook, I just put my finger there and I'm like, shh.
So right now his forehead has coconut oil, guys, if you're asking. White, shining. It's a coconut oil forehead.
I love it, Rick.
But with that, we said, is there any final remarks, Kevin? Anything you want to give the people?
Just want to say thank you so much for your company today. We absolutely love starting the week, a new month with you. We look forward to our Valentine's special, which is coming up very soon.
Yes,
that's
all the
next
love.
week. All the love. Well, folks, have a great day. Have a blessed week. We love you, and thank you so much for your company. Bye-bye.
Bye. Running music.
A place to call your home, a place where you can grow. Stand by me and we'll take flight. We'll be there at morning's light. I've got you covered on all concerns we share today. You will discover how the world turns each day. When the sun comes up